way you feel. Hearts of fire. Any way you feel. Hearts of fire. I don't know any more words.
6-minute long guitar solo.
That's the warm-up guitar solo.
That's a sound check guitar solo.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Not Candid. Oh, my goodness.
I
Oh,
hit
so
you
messy.
right in the face.
You do know I did that on purpose.
You're such a freaking liar.
You're
I,
done
no,
now.
I didn't do that on purpose. I messed up. This is In the Spotlight with Kadie Lynn and Aaron. And before we get started, we have an important announcement.
We do.
We are going to move this show to Facebook Live.
To Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Facebook Live, same night, same time.
Same everything.
Same everything except Facebook Live. Kadie Lynn's Facebook Live. Kadie Lynn's Facebook page. So, if you're not friends with Kadie Lynn on Facebook, not friends, but if you haven't liked her page, if you haven't followed her page on Facebook,
I want to go do that.
yeah, you might want to go do that. Now, here's the other thing. While that's going to be live at 8 o'clock, there is still going to be something here on YouTube. It's just going to be pre-recorded. And right now, we're leaning towards a reaction show where she picks a song.
If y'all don't know, I am very into rock and metal. And this dude over here is hardcore country.
Old school country.
Like old school. And so I'm going to pick a song that I normally listen to, like some metal bands and stuff for him to react to. And he's going to pick some country stuff that I would never, ever in a million years listen to.
Yeah, like Red Sylvan Teddy Bear.
I have no idea what that is. Die Artist Murder, Death Perception.
But we are open. We are open to suggestions. So in the chat, give us some suggestions of what you would like to see her do, and me, since I'm running the stuff. And
You don't get a choice.
Of course, if you want me out of the equation, I can teach her how to do all this. But anyway, so yeah, that's coming. Next time, and next week there won't be a show because
I will be in Nashville. I leave for Nashville on Sunday. The vlog that you guys are going to be seeing on Tuesday is actually, I plan on doing that on the way up to Nashville on Sunday. And then I'm going to be interviewing 2 friends out there just on my phone, and then I'll be uploading that at the same time, 8 p.m. on Wednesday. So.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, to seeing the videos.
It's not going to look
stuff.
as professional, but it'll be all right.
Well, why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest?
We over here have Backhand Sally. I've known them for a while now.
Yeah. Couple of minutes. Years.
You guys want to?
Cable out of this thing?
No.
All right, I'll just hold it then. I'll just sit here and hold it the entire show.
Yes. Yes, you will.
Okay, so
This is Ginger Lee.
Yeah. This is Brock.
Yeah. And we are Backhand Sally.
absolutely. So I know you guys pretty well, but they don't. So how did you guys get into music, and how did you two like meet each other and all that kind of stuff?
It's a warm summer's eve in 1974 when it all started.
You had to choose the 70s. If you're gonna do something like that, it should be in the 50s.
The 50s. Well, that was the second time that we met, actually. But no, I think she tells the story better than I do.
Do I tell the story better?
Well, I mean, how did we get started? Well, we got started because I responded to a wanted ad, on the old Craigslist back in the day. And
What is Craigslist?
Yeah, exactly. And pretty much it was, guitar player needed, blah, 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 right? So I show up to the thing, and she had a different band, her own band, and they didn't like me. I went to the audition, and they didn't really care for me for some reason. You'll have to ask, her.
Maybe because you start off sentences with warm summer's eve.
Well,
No. I wish it had been that complex of a reason.
yeah, no, I just they didn't care for me for some
They
reason.
didn't like your rig.
They didn't like my guitar or something.
Yeah.
I was just I don't know what it was about the guitar they didn't like, but they didn't like me. I showed up. I went to the house, did the audition, nailed it. I thought, and then it's like, oh, well, we're gonna keep.
Oh well, you suck.
We're gonna keep our options open. It's like, all right, fine, no big deal, right? Fast forward about 6 months, I come across another ad on the old Craigslist. Craigslist was like, the precursor
I was
to
there
the,
for some of
the
it.
Facebook exchange, I guess is what they have now. But you could also exchange like community ideas, like musicians and bands and stuff like that. But I didn't really like to show up to these strange houses that I've never been before with like my Les Paul that was very expensive, or
And
my
your pedal board,
or
and
my
your amp
custom
and
my
all that.
custom Fender or anything.
You
So
never do a Craigslist deal unless you're strapped.
right. So I pretty much would just go to these things with just a basic guitar that wasn't very expensive, but it was a solid guitar, or so I thought. But they said, "Oh, well, his guitar isn't nice enough, or his amp isn't nice enough." I'm like, "Well,
That's literally what they said.
well, I'm pretty sure I could play." But anyhow, 6 months later, there was another ad that I responded to, and I talked with her over the phone, still not knowing, that we had talked before and met. And I show up. She says, "Well, I got a gig. We don't have time to get together. Do you know these songs?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of know that, right?"
It was a Christmas gig.
It's a Christmas gig. So she says, "We gotta have to just do the gig and show up, So I show up to the gig. Right here, I am walking in. I'm like, "Man, this broad looks awfully familiar, And I mean, I've known a few people, and I'm like, God, do I? Is she mad at me? Like every time I see a familiar lady's face, it's always like a long list of thoughts that go through my head. Like, did I do something wrong that she won't talk to me anymore? I don't know. But anyhow, then I'm looking around. I'm like, gosh, that drum kit looks awful familiar too. I'm like, that's a nice. Pearl Master custom kit, for example. I've seen one just like that before 6 months ago. And then I'm looking around. I'm like, that bass player, gosh, he looks awful familiar. Anyway, we did the gig, and it was a great thing. And I think on a break or something, halfway through this thing, she goes, I think you know us,
It was me and the keyboard player were like, that's that guy.
That's
That's
that
totally
guy.
that guy.
That's totally that guy. I'm like, no. And I realized it too. I'm like, nope, wasn't me. Like, see, like my hair's longer. It couldn't have been me, 6 months without a haircut, right? But anyway, so we got hooked up, and that's how I started playing with the band a little bit. Come to find out, I guess I'm okay, right? I got through the gig, did all right. Did a few more things with them, but then I think she and I just kind of had a mutual understanding that we were going to kind of branch off and do not necessarily branch off, but we had different ideas. We wanted to get into more original music and different styles that they were playing. So I think naturally it just kind of made sense for us to kind of branch off on our own thing. And I guess that's how it all got started. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of alcohol involved and bad decisions, but we'll get into
not
that later.
PG.
Yeah.
G.
Well,
Yeah,
okay. I
well.
think you can say alcohol. So
It makes little kids wonder about certain things.
no, well,
We're
Remember her
talking about
demographic is-
rubbing alcohol.
Her
Right,
demographic
exactly,
is
yeah.
a little different than ours.
I forget.
at the doctor.
I forget. What are you, 12 now?
Shut up.
I forget.
She's 13 and a half.
13 and a half. So I got
Okay, both of y'all. Okay, I'm used to it from him, but
Hey, she drives. Well, I've got.
yeah, I'll run over you. I'd be
Yeah.
She
careful.
drives now.
Well, yeah, drives.
I'd
But
be careful. I'd run over you.
anyhow, the next question is, how did you guys get started doing your thing?
Actually,
We're supposed to be interviewing
actually-
you.
Oh, well, no. I mean, this is fair is fair. I mean,
Okay,
this just can't be all one-sided. I mean, there's two sides to a relationship, right?
Okay, Craig Wayne Boyd's dad, Mike Boyd.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't
Yeah,
know that the
Mike-
You
people.
don't know Craig?
I don't know
Okay.
the people really
Okay.
care about how this worked out.
Oh,
you know?
okay. Anyway,
Keep going. I'm kidding.
He's
Go.
joking.
Go.
Mike Boyd, a friend of mine, pretty good guitar player in his own right, called me up and said, "Hey, we're doing a watch party for Craig. He was on AGT. It's going to be up at CC's, and I want you to come out to the watch party and I want you to check out this little girl named Kadie Lynn."
I was like 9.
So last year.
you were 11. You were
Last
11.
year.
11?
We met Mike.
And I'll be honest with you. And she was 10.
I was ha.
Okay, yeah, okay, she was 10. And I'll be honest with you, and I had to fess up to her mom on this. I was thinking, oh boy, mom pushing
He had to
kid.
fess up as of like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, mom pushing kid, can't sing. That was what I was expecting when I got there. Blown away.
By how hard mom was pushing, or by how good she could
How
sing?
good she could sing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Be
And
mind
Be
blown by
nice.
how hard I could punch you in the face.
and I had a radio station down there in Log Cabin, and had invited them to come to the radio station, and I was doing Texas country stuff, reporting to the Texas charts, and I don't know. Me and Katie's mom just started talking, and we were talking about maybe getting her a promoter. I said, Deborah, you might want to get her a promoter, promote it to radio, and we just talked it over. And one night, I couldn't sleep. I was thinking about, what, I really want to get into promotions, and I'd really love to promote her, but I don't want to make this a flop. what's weird is when I woke up the next morning, her mom calls me and says, Aaron, I've been thinking about this. I couldn't sleep last night, and I want you to promote Kadie's song. And so it was meant to be. So I changed the format of the radio station from Texas country to classic country, so there would be a conflict of interest. And I promoted her single, and we got it up to number 38. Everybody said, you've never promoted, so no one knows you. She's, first of all, she's 11 years old. She had turned 11 by then.
I just turned 12.
Oh, okay. Well, I couldn't remember. anyway, and it's a female singer, so
Right.
like you're not even going to make her show up in the 115 in the Rising, and by golly, 38.
There you go.
There you go. That's. I mean, I didn't know that. I'm glad that I asked.
Yeah, I
that,
did not
you
know that story. So
Yep.
we're all learning about each
Yeah,
other.
And we would like to, of course, at this time, thank our sponsors. We got Red Wine, brought to you by Sutter Home, I believe. And
Okay, G again. G.
you don't think they can see that there's clearly
They
red
might
wine?
think it's grape juice.
It looks like something off of Lord of the Rings.
It is. It is
Look,
our
if I had-
homage to Game of Thrones.
Look, when I was like
Question 2,
5,
Katie.
when I was like 5, I would get like those wine glasses like Kimberly has over here, and I would get those things and fill them up with tea and drink them like it's wine. I thought I was so mature.
I still
and
do
so-
that.
Hey, Deborah, can you cook up a turkey right quick and put it right there, and we'll play Hurt while he pours wine on it.
I'm so confused. I'm so confused still.
You have to watch the video, Johnny Cash video for Hurt.
I have, but not in like
I heard
5 years.
Oh, come on, even sing a song.
Today
There you go.
to see if I still feel. I don't know the rest of it.
Look, man,
That's so
I thought. First of all, I thought we were the musical guests, but this guy's taking the show away, man. Come
What
on,
was
man,
it?
that's
Trent-
awesome.
Trent Reznor said
original.
that he gave that song to Johnny Cash. He said Johnny Cash did a better version of it than he
Oh, yeah,
himself
He
yeah,
did.
really did.
Correct.
Yeah, he really did.
The story behind that was he wanted to hear it before he would let him release it. And once he heard it, he said, that's his song from now on. He said,
I've seen grown men cry while watching that video. That's a true story.
that's a
I
power-
saw grown men cry while watching that video.
Were you the grown man that
I
cried?
actually don't have tear ducts, so no, it wasn't me. But
Oh, that's right.
my mother had them surgically removed when I was an infant. She said she didn't like the scene of a man crying. I was 6 months old, but anyhow, we'll get there later.
His voice with the age that he was, the time of his life, the instrumentals, the whole production of the
It was
music
genius.
itself, and then the video, it just all come together. I mean, it was just perfect.
Yeah, if we're talking Trent Reznor facts. Have nothing to do with us, but he's one of the ones that kind of pioneered where people would take songs like "Creep," like "I'm a creep," and then slow them way down and make them more acoustic, kind of indie singer-songwriter for movie soundtracks. He's one of the first ones that got into that. He and Danny Elfman kind of got into that thing in the 90s where they were doing that. So all those songs that you hear that are, and sometimes you'll hear a rock song and you're like, what is that song? I know it. Takes a minute to get to the hook. That's Trent Reznor's brainchild with Danny Elfman of all people. So there's some random music trivia that's unnecessary, but it might help you win a game. So there you go.
Right.
Oh, let's see if we've got any. Oh, we got a look, man.
Is that what all that noise is?
Oh, those chimes.
Hey, I've got Richie13 said I have the voice of Charlie Rich.
Do you really?
Oh, hey.
That's a high compliment, man. Charlie Rich is a great
let's
singer.
see.
Are we gonna do some songs?
Because when we get behind closed
Let's see what key you're in, man. Come on, now that's a
I
great song.
have no idea what
That's
that
because,
song is.
well, that's the first one on your reactions, okay? On your country
No.
reaction. That's the first one on your country reactions.
No one knows.
Yeah, I had to do
Go.
that.
Goes on behind closed doors.
Oh my goodness.
You don't want to read that one. Read it anyway. Negative. Let's go. Let's do the negative ones first.
Aaron, I was ready to hear you. Oh boy.
All right. All right now.
Kathy needs some wine.
Grape juice.
Kathy loves Katie's show.
Okay.
And Neblaw used to run around with Vinny from Pantera's cousin.
She's
All
saying that
right.
because I was playing Pantera riff
Old
earlier.
Farm Show says hello.
There you go.
Hello.
Richie 13's wanting you to do Fancy.
Do it. Ready?
As in me?
Yeah. like here's your one chance.
There ain't no way I'll be able to do that crap. I have this accent, but that don't mean nothing.
Go. Mama, remember it all
Very well, looking back,
There
it
you
was
go.
the summer I turned 18. We lived in a one-room, run-down shack on the outskirts of New Orleans. Didn't have money for food or rent, to say the least. We were hard-pressed.
We'll get through like a verse.
And Mama spent every last penny we had to buy me a dancing dress. Well, Mama washed and combed and curled my hair. Then she painted my eyes and lips. Then I stepped into a satin dancing dress and had to sit up the side, clean up to my hip. It was red velvet trim and it fit me good. Standing back from the looking glass, there stood a woman where a half-grown kid had stood. She said, here's your one chance, fancy, don't let me down. Oh, here's your one chance, fancy, don't let me down.
I love how y'all just take it and run with it for like 5 minutes.
All
That
right,
song's
man.
like 9.5 minutes long, so.
And we know 10 minutes of it, you know? No, but hats off to Miss Lynn over here on the vocals on that one. Great job, Katie.
I know, it was crazy. It's like I didn't even do it.
This is our ventriloquist hour.
Well, if I have to do a song, it's got to be The Gambler or something.
Really? Which
Like
key do you want to do it, man? On a warm summer's eve.
that. On a train bound for Norway, I met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to speak, so we took turns to stare at the window.
It's got funky chord changes in it,
Funky
man.
changes, man. We'll work it up, though. Put it on the list, man. Put it on the list, Aaron, okay? Ready? All together. You've got to know when to hold 'em,
When to hold 'em,
know when to fold,
when to fold 'em,
know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money.
When you're
Sitting at the table, time enough for counting when the dealing's done. Key change.
You can't pick a rock song?
I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding. We're not doing what we're supposed to be doing on the show, are we?
I don't really know
I
what
don't even know what's going on. I'm just sitting here staring at the camera.
this is the most interesting show we've had as far as
All right, we're having a good time.
We
We're having a
digress
good time.
quickly.
Yeah. So, what has been one of your most favorite music experiences, Katie?
Why are you asking me?
I don't get to ask questions.
No,
I noticed,
you don't.
I noticed you haven't asked me anything else yet.
So, what's your favorite music experience?
I should have asked a better question. My favorite music experience is being right here with Aaron and Mrs. Roberson and Mr. Roberson and myself.
Yourself.
And myself.
And yourself?
That's been my most favorite music experience. And I'm very
Anytime
happy
he can
about
do
it.
Wow.
something where he can look at himself while he's doing it is usually a good experience.
I can understand that.
You can relate.
Yeah, I've been staring at it.
we're
like the whole
both
time.
we're both looking at the monitor.
I have to
like,
be
full
honest.
So
time.
vain.
If I play a location and there's like a mirror behind the thing in
Oh,
front of
yeah.
me, I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, I should have worn something different. Like, I just wasn't doing like I thought.
why don't we hear one of y'all? Hear something that you
Instead
guys
of just
do.
running with crazy
I'll-
covers.
I only text you when I drink.
These are
or,
the requests. Okay.
uh,
I'll tell you what we will do. We'll start off with Text You Wanna Drink. This was one of our first songs that we put to pen and paper, and the first song that we recorded, I believe. And it's a sort of I don't want to say theatrical, but it's just kind of a big piece when we do it. But what we have done, I tried this once, and it had mixed reviews, but we're gonna try it again.
Okay.
They didn't care for the country version. They didn't care for when I played it country, but they didn't mind it when I played it reggae. So
Yeah,
we're
that
gonna
is
do
true.
this song a little reggae style for you.
all right.
Oh my lord.
I'll get it going, and then I'll give her one of the old looks. Got one of those looks, you know.
Okay.
So
We'll see
it
if I
goes
can
like
keep
this.
up. I only text you when I drink. I never call you when I'm sober, 'cause that's the only time I think that our love is really over. I hardly ever think of you, and you never cross my mind, except for when I'm drinking, which happens to me all the time. I only text you when I drink. Well, you say I have a problem, I'm wasting time. Well, that's not true. I'm just fine. Put down the bottle in a moment in a day, but there's so many things I still need to say. I only text you when I drink. I never call you when I'm sober, 'cause that's the only time I think that our love is really over. Well, I'm not lonely, I'm not blue, and there's a million things to do. Well, I've got friends to fill my time, whiskey, bourbon, gin, and wine. Oh, well, I can't believe it finally hit me today. I'm living my life in all the wrong ways. With every moment that comes to pass, I find a reason to fill my glass. The river I drain that helps dull the pain, yeah, it makes me weak. Reach to you again. I know I should choose to stop, but I'm not over you, so give me a shot. I only text you when I drink. I never call you when I'm sober, 'cause that's the only time I think that our love is really over. I only text you when I drink. I never call you when I'm sober, 'cause that's the only time I think that our love is really over. I only text you when I drink.
Lord.
So if you hear that on the album, which the album is called No Instructions, if you were to hear that, it would sound it's just a straight pop rock song on the album. But I get tired of playing. Well, when we do it acoustic, on the album, I play the bass and we have drums and all that kind of stuff, so I can't really do all of it. And I get tired of playing things the same way more than once. So there's like 9 versions of that song.
I really like that
That's
version.
pretty cool.
That was pretty stinking good.
But yeah, so we just try to keep it fresh, for ourselves and not for y'all.
I think after you play anything for a long time, you just
Yeah.
kind of like
Want to do it differently.
yeah.
Now he's being modest, which he doesn't do very often. He's pretty.
Or well, I don't often or well. I don't do often or well, but keep going. I like where this is going.
I
Keep
want
going.
you to show them your guitar chops.
Ooh. What you gonna play?
I mean, you just saw some, man. That was some.
No, I mean go wild on.
Do a little bendy on it.
Yeah,
I mean,
bend the
I'm gonna give you
strings.
some room while you do that, and
no
I'll be
room,
back.
I mean, you say guitar chops, man, but it's all chops, I mean, if you're just playing a chord, that's a chop, So, I don't know. What do you want me to play? I mean, you can't leave me to my own devices,
Yeah, we can.
Okay. That was kind of like what I was thinking about.
She got mad when I started doing this.
Those strings are like 2 years old. He's going to break them. Yeah.
What about some Jerry Reed, Stevie Ray Vaughan?
There is a Jerry Reed song that I haven't. I can't remember which. There's one in particular that I'm thinking of. I don't
Amos Moses?
No, I can't. But I mean, Stevie Ray Vaughan is pretty much just like a straight ahead blues player. But he does a lot of good, cool things too. He does it. I mean, that's kind of an Albert King lick. He's just kind of a. I think he famously said that when he got discovered by David Bowie. I don't know if y'all know that or not.
I did not know that.
You know that song, not Fame, but there's gosh, no, I had too much sleeping since the last time I thought about it. But on one of the tracks that he played guitar for David Bowie, and he was like, nobody knew it, but I was just playing Albert King licks, and it was just like, just stuff like that, and nobody really knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I made a big spread there when I said Jerry Reed or Stevie Ray Vaughan. That's a pretty big spread, but
Yeah, well, Jerry Reed's really, and here, let me just make a point real quick. I hear a lot of younger country musicians, singers, and guitar players that they say things. Oh, this new country, it ain't your simple guitar playing like it used to be. That is not a very accurate statement, I don't think, because if you look at some country pickers from back in the day, Chet Atkins, Jerry Reed, I mean, these guys.
Roy
are just
Clark,
yeah, exactly.
Glenn
I
Campbell.
mean, Glenn Campbell is a phenomenal guitar player. Vince Gill is a phenomenal guitar
Steve
player.
Warner.
These guys will blow. I guarantee you. Some of these, these guys that all they're doing is just. I love country music. Don't get me wrong, but some of what they're playing is basically just a repeat of some classic rock. So it's not like an amazing thing that they're doing, but you have really, really great classic country guitar players. You've named all of them, and they're fantastic. I don't think you're gonna find them. You can't beat those guys for the money. I just broke your pick. Get better picks.
No, you didn't. That's been the pick I've been using for the past 5 years.
It's not the pick you're using anymore.
How did you break a pick?
And he didn't even break it the right way. It's like split down the middle.
We've got requests now. We've got Rhinestone Cowboy and Eastbound and Down.
Hey, there you go. I mean, Rhinestone
Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. We gonna do what they say can.
These got to be on your list, right?
I don't know how. It's literally split down the middle.
Because he plays hard.
I play.
No, but usually when you break a pick, like you snap the end off.
You got to get rid of those ladies' picks.
Well,
Man.
you know
Give me a
what-
man's pick, and we'll talk later. Okay.
I have 3.0s. Thank
Now,
you.
what everybody out there don't know is he filled in for Kadie Lynn's guitar player, and
My no guitar player.
yeah, no guitar player anymore. And I was watching the video, and I mean, he's just this guitar solo on Folsom Prison Blues. Everybody got Folsom Prison Blues in their set, but no offense there, Katie, but he just goes nuts on Folsom Prison Blues. I was like, hey, next time you need to carry a fire extinguisher in case his guitar catches on fire.
We had that. We had the whole power was tripping out the whole time.
Oh my God, it was literally like we blew like breakers all night.
No, that was a good time. But no, I had a good time, and I will shout out. I will shout out to the guys that were playing with us. Of course, Billy.
And Willie.
Billy and Willie. It really is, and this isn't a political statement, but it really is to play. It is a lot easier to play. It's a lot easier to be a good sprinkling and a good sugar coating when you got a good base, foundation. So you got to have good players behind you. You can't just play. Oh, that guy's a good guitar player. And I'm not saying you're not saying that because I am. But no, but I mean you got to have good people behind you to make yourself sound good. Because if you got people underneath you or behind you that aren't sounding good, there's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way. And trust me, I've had that. We've been through. And this isn't a knock on anybody that we've played with because we've in our group. Let's get back to Backhand Sally. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But in our group, we have had played with a lot of musicians, and we're really great by ourselves. And when we've had to just sit there and carry and drudge along, people that aren't really familiar with the material or even that competent, I guess it really does make for a long night. So I got to give. If you're complimenting me, I personally thank you. But I would like to mention that I got to throw some of that on the guys behind me too. So.
Oh yeah. And I noticed that. When you see professionals work with each other, they catch the cues. They kind of know what the other one's going to do before they do it. And I was actually watching that video, and I could tell that Billy knew where you were going whenever you were doing that solo.
Yeah, and some things are so straightforward that everybody does the same things, but there are times once you begin work, and I, Billy and I are new to playing with each other, but in our group and the guys that I've had the luxury of playing with for a while now, even her, I mean, she even between a vocalist and a singer, there's times when I'm like, we're new, she and I are new to playing with each other, and I'm kind of like, come on, do what I'm wanting you to do, and she's looking at me
And I'm
like
what
an
do you want
idiot,
me to do?
but it's just because I've gotten so used to playing with her that she kind of knows what I'm thinking, and a lot of that is just a familiarity between two people. But there are some basic things that most people at a professional level will know. Oh yeah, we're gonna go to the change here or whatever. But some of the nuances, like she knows what I'm gonna do, and I already know when she's gonna make a mistake.
The first time we ever did Walking After Midnight, I don't know what song he was playing. He got off on some weird thing, and
Off on a
all I
weird
could do was go with him, and the whole band stopped because they were not that great, to be honest. This is so long ago, they don't even remember us to know who we're talking about.
And what she's basically saying is we're talking about songs. I mean, Walking After Midnight, that song is 175 years old, and it came out when I was a young man. But what she's talking about is I do a lot of chord substitutions and alternate voicings. I mean, a lot of people will play just to kind of like a basic, you have like a minor chord, but I'll play like a minor 7, or even at times I'll play like a minor 9, which are different voicings of all the same root chord. And if someone's not following along with what you're doing, they get lost really quick. But she, on the other hand, right from the get-go, kind of was like, all right, this guy, I don't know what the hell he's doing, but I'm gonna follow with him,
Hey, Boston Chris says, hi, Kadie. Hi, Ginger. Hi, Brock.
Hi,
how you
Boston
doing?
Chris.
Thanks, sir.
Oh, Daryl's
yeah.
like, what is that pig? That's
Daryl
what you
is the
need.
man.
Is that tree?
It's
That is
raining.
a- that's
It's
a-
raining
I
pigs.
This
really
is a
like
tree stump, man.
Those are the
This
3.0s.
is a tree stump
those
right
are
here.
cool.
Heck yeah. The
That
only
makes me
thing,
want to learn to play the guitar.
I'm gonna
just
play this
because
on my
it's such
guitar,
a
but
You
cool
can get a
thing.
pack of 3 for $15.
All right.
oh wow, that is a pick, man. $5.
Now, I'll tell you something. I went to YouTube and checked out y'all's channel.
Uh-huh.
You were a wild woman on stage. You were all over that stage.
What were you watching,
I don't
man?
know which video you were
I can't
watching.
I can't remember which one it was. It was when she told me that you guys were going to be the guest. I think it was on y'all's YouTube channels. But I mean, you were all over. Whenever you had a spot where he was playing a solo or something, you were all over that stage before you get back to your keyboard.
I move a lot. I
I'm
do
like,
that,
she's
yes.
going to run a marathon around that stage.
I do move a lot. I've been sick for the last couple of weeks, so I've been a little slow, a little panty on some of the songs, but I still do it.
and what that goes back to, and I'll speak for her on her behalf because I do that often. What that really speaks to is, like I said, going back to the musicians working with you, because she and I in our group we're pretty much front people, and when we have a great drummer, all the drummers we've been playing with are really great, and all the bass players we've been playing with are really great. When we have 2 guys or 3 guys behind us that are carrying the song, that really opens us up to just being sprinkling and sugar and sweetener.
You can do that?
Which
Right, I know.
which allows us
It's
to
artificial sweetener.
right, yeah,
Yeah.
which allows us then to
Splenda.
do exactly what you're saying, run around the stage, going out in the crowd, and we'll get people, and I'll start playing my guitar and dancing with women on stuff on the dance floor and everything, but you can't do that if I have to be in the back courting people through the song. So it's really great when you have an opportunity like that, and she's just lucky to have me.
That's true.
And that's so important, when people come out to watch a live performance, it's not just the music. They want to be entertained. I mean, they want to see.
Entertainment is about 15% musical ability, and I don't say that lightly. I would rather see a guy singing mediocre but running around the stage and dancing and entertaining the crap out of me than a fantastic vocalist just standing there doing nothing. But there are exceptions. There are exceptions, huh?
Say hi to Kara when you get
There
a
are
chance.
exceptions though to that though, like a vocalist like Andrea Bocelli or something like that, who is one of my favorites. Now that man can stand still, and I will watch him read the phone book because he is that phenomenal of a vocalist. But by and large, pop music and just general entertainment.
Well, I tell you, somebody this amazes me. He is glued behind the mic stand and glued behind his guitar, but
Chris
everybody
Stapleton.
loves it.
George Strait.
George
George
Strait.
Yeah.
And Chris Stapleton is a modern.
Chris Stapleton
I've seen him.
does the
We've
same
seen him in
thing.
concert. And he does the same thing, and they just have an ability to be captivating in that way. But that is a talent few and far between. A lot of people don't have that, And hats off to those guys that do,
I just come from a very theatrical background of stage performing and musicals and touring with show bands, and then emulating or watching Cher and Tina Turner and those type of performers that really moved a lot and really danced a lot. And then when I really got some chops, as you would say, it was with a show band, and it was a persona and lots of sequins and animal print and big hair.
That explains a lot.
Well, honestly, though, I think even had that not been the case, I would just dress that way anyway. I have
Y'all should see her dressed on stage. She's like head to toe sequins.
I have done that. I have sequin pants. Wait till Nashville.
Yeah, not only am I going to Nashville, they're coming with me.
We are, and I got new cheetah pants and a new cheetah skirt. I'm like a mix of Dolly Parton and Peg Bundy just trapped in this little Northeast Louisiana body.
Wally Trimble says, "Love y'all."
Oh, hey, that's what
And-
my mom is on there too. I don't know if she said
and-
that.
and we
Kara.
and what's that?
And Wally says something else, but I don't know if I'm letting the cat out of the bag here.
Oh, what does he say?
Hey,
Oh, there we go. Yeah. No, that's all love, man. That's family members right
Oh,
there.
okay.
So William Wallace right there is a family member, and he's watching in Topeka, Kansas. So shout out to my family out in Topeka,
To the
Kansas.
Kansas-
To the
Shout
Kansas
out
Kansas
to Kansas.
And
Topeka,
then
Kansas.
we got the crew down in
Lake Jackson, Texas.
Your mother. You can say hello to your mother.
I did. I said hi, Kara, 3
Lake,
times.
Lake
Hi,
Jackson.
Mom.
Yeah.
South of
Lake,
Houston.
Lake Jackson seafood. That y'all just made me hungry. There's
Oh.
a place. Did y'all know there's a place here in Gunbarrel City named Lake Jackson Seafood?
I did
Really?
not.
Yes, it's good. It's really good. How did we get off on that? Leave it to me to.
Dude, if we can talk about food, we can have a whole hour about that because I love food.
Hey, for all you new guys out there, I'm going to do this unshameful plug. If you're watching from Kansas or Lake Jackson, hit the subscribe button.
Yeah, and make sure you
Yeah.
like Kadie Lynn's Facebook page so you can catch the show when it switches over to Facebook Live.
And
don't-
follow me on Instagram just because I post cute pictures
Oh, and
of my
don't
dog.
forget to also like our Facebook page.
Yeah, their Facebook
Yeah,
page.
not y'all, me.
And don't forget to donate to my Patreon, my personal Patreon. This has nothing to do with the
You have your
band,
own?
but I have my own personal Patreon.
I wouldn't go there.
It helps him
y'all.
buy clothes
Helps
for
me-
gigs.
It helps me pay my water bill
It helps pay for
and general food.
Yeah, because y'all don't want to show up to a show and try and hug him and him smell. So
Well,
No.
it's-
It's not fun.
What's the next question?
Bobby McGee.
No.
No, no Bobby McGee.
Next question.
Next question.
You should tell them
You
why.
don't have enough money to get me to pay Bobby McGee,
He-
to be honest.
In the 7 years we have gigged together, we've played it one time, and that lady paid a lot of money for us.
She
to
paid
do
a lot
that
of money
song.
and gave me like 3 bottles of wine.
That's
so.
a true fact.
So far we're at like 1 chalice full. So
That
we,
was- That's kind of like the $100 tip that I got to play Walk This Way one time when I was working at coal miners.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, you don't.
I,
Oh,
to-
was
well, I
it a-
told the guy that they would only allow us 3 non-country songs per hour. That was back
Oh.
in the late 90s. I'm like, dude, I can't do it. I'll get in trouble. And he's like, well, there's this girl out on the dance floor and blah blah blah. I'm like, I just can't. And he hands me a $100 bill. I said, next song.
I'll take the hit, whatever it is.
I remember I was playing in Canton and I was like 8 or 9 and I was singing by Martina McBride.
Was that 2 years ago?
Shut up. Anyway, and she comes up to me and she was drunker than a skunk. She was out of here. Anyway, and she comes up to me and she gives me a $100 bill. And in the middle of singing Broken Wing, instead of singing the lyrics, I'm like, and with the thank you.
Yeah, it's hard
was
when you're
bad.
by yourself. Like, how do you time that on the breath to say thank you? We have it. It's the luxury of a duo when people do tip us or come up and say something that.
Yeah, then the other can say thank you.
Sometimes. My favorite though is when I'm singing and he's playing, or vice versa, and they will come up to the singing one to request a song.
Let's see. Kathy says for y'all to have fun in Nashville.
All right.
Will
Thank
do.
Says
we will.
congratulations on the new album.
Thank you.
And Neb said try some Old Bad Company.
Really? What do you mean?
Well, I
old
feel
Bad
like
Company?
Old
What-
Bad
you do old
Company's
bad
old.
company. Is there a new bad company?
I don't think so.
To the better end. What's the chorus? Well, anyway, the chorus.
Ooh, I want you to stay. Ooh, I want you to stay. Are you ready for love? Oh, baby, are you ready for love? Are you ready for love? Oh, baby, are you ready for love?
I forgot how it goes.
Ooh,
I messed it up, but I know
feel
that tune,
like
man.
making
Oh.
cookies because
Oh,
it's
there
a
you
PG
go,
show.
there you go.
Sorry.
Cookies. Hey, they don't know what that means yet.
Feel like making cookies.
I get rusty on some of this stuff.
Honestly,
man.
I feel like actually making cookies. 'Cause
Dude, that sounds so good.
I know, right?
We'll talk about the other stuff later, but first of all,
Let's make some
let's get to
cookies.
the cookies.
What
you
kind
know?
of cookies?
Just plain old chocolate chip ones would be pretty all right.
Yeah,
Some
that
straight
sounds
up.
good. Oh, and
heavy on the chocolate chip.
Snickerdoodles.
All right, y'all go have a
Yeah,
conversation
those are
about cookies. Let me talk about Paul Rogers for a minute. I do like Bad Company, and then I gotta mention though that I'm a big Free fan, man. I don't know if you remember Free, but that was Paul Rogers' group before Free. They did All Right Now. Everybody knows that, but they had an album. I think it was Fire and Water was the name of the album. And that was Paul Kossoff on guitar. That was before Mick Ralphs and then Simon Kirk and then Paul Rogers and then I forget the bass player's name. They did Bad Company, but
we have an autographed Bad Company poster.
but Paul Rogers and what did I say? Kossoff.
You're really giving me a headache.
Anyhow,
It's a lot of music trivia.
and he had
you
he
suck
had
a
like an
million
old
miles
Les Paul
in a
with P90s in it, man. Paul Kossoff was his name, guitar player, great
Yeah.
guy. I
So
don't know him, but
we do courtesy of Kara, my mom. We have a Bad Company autographed poster that an old house that I used to live in. It accidentally got sent there, and instead of the person who knew where I had moved to, instead of them
I
just
think I might have just done that. I touched something with my foot.
don't touch nothing else.
they tried to steal my autograph poster. When I went and knocked on their door, they were like, "Oh, my bad. I thought it was for me." You mean the thing that was addressed to me? Yeah. So that's my Paul Rogers story.
Hey, Fred said that was awesome, and Neb said, do they remember Raging Saint or...
What does remember mean? Like
What's Raging Saint?
90% of the stuff was before I was we were even
Or
born.
Onyx.
I don't know.
Or Onyx, yeah.
Or Onyx, yeah.
I don't. Maybe I know a
Onyx.
song by them. I don't know the.
I can't say that I do. There's always that one that's like, do you remember the B-side of the album from 1934 that, the one that never got released but was, and like,
We're
no.
competing with the World
Do you
Series.
remember?
right
Do you
now.
remember Billy Ray Cyrus singing "Where Am I Going to Live When I Get Home"? That kind of.
I don't remember
It
him
was actually
singing that.
it was an album cut. It was on jukeboxes everywhere, but it never
Really?
was a single. Yeah,
No,
it was
I don't
actually the
remember
most country song he ever did.
Really?
Yeah.
Old Town Road's pretty country, man.
Shut up. Look, I swear I can't deal
Was
with
it-
these people.
A Jamaican band, a band from Jamaica, Onyx?
Onyx?
ONYX.
Black Onyx? Is that what you're saying?
ONY. Yeah,
Isn't-
that's what I'm
isn't
looking up.
All Onyx Black? What's the next question?
An America hardcore
Go to
hip hop
the tape.
band. I
Go
don't
to
know
the
any
tape.
songs by them.
Let's see here.
How much time have we got anyhow? Because I got a lot to say.
George
you do.
Strait coming to Austin to the Moody Center.
Didn't he already do his Cowboy Rides Away tour?
Yeah.
Like, isn't he done?
Yeah, well, I think he rode back.
But no one's complaining, though.
Come
I
back,
do
Shane. Nobody's gonna
Jack-
complain. George Strait's great.
Jackson says, "What's up?"
What's
And
What's up?
yeah, he said- and Kathy wants to know if you know any Boston songs.
Yeah, on this guitar.
More
Dun,
than a
dun, dun,
feeling, more than a feeling. Right? That's Boston. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I know every single word to freaking Peace of Mind.
Really?
Oh, was it Boston or Chicago that my sister used to listen to on those
Was it the 90s?
45s?
It would have been Chicago.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was been the-
45s?
Yeah, it was been the 80s.
In the late 80s, early 90s, Chicago was super big with young
Yeah.
teenage girls.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Not Color My World Chicago. Like,
See, that's the difference between me and Gingerly over here. Chicago,
I'm
I'm a CTA
forever
fan, man. No, I don't.
yours.
That's not real Chicago, okay? I am a CTA
Faithfully.
fan. I am.
Down, down, down. That's Chicago.
That's Journey. You're singing
That's
Journey,
Journey.
dude.
What's the
You're trying to
Chicago
tell
What's
me
thing
your
about-
issue?
You're trying to tell me how much you love
Trying to have
Chicago
a
and you're
glass of
singing
wine.
Journey.
Oh, I didn't say I did. I was saying,
no,
was she
I am,
a 90s
I am a,
fan?
I am a Chicago fan, man.
Was it the Glory of Love?
That was Chicago, but
Yeah.
that was like 1989. That ain't the real Chicago, man. I'm talking straight up early 70s.
Why is that
and-
Peter
60s.
Cetera?
No, that's the bass player, the lead singer.
Oh.
But I'm Terry Kath's Chicago, man. Terry Kath shot himself in 1972, I think, on a drunken "there's no bullet in this gun" routine, right?
Nuh-uh. That's
how
a
it
terrible
happened.
story.
That's
That's
how
like
it
the empty
happened.
glass guy.
And Gary Stewart, yeah, but I'm telling you, that
He
Terry
didn't shoot
Kath,
himself.
Jimi Hendrix went up to Chicago after the gig and said, "Yo, that guy's bad."
You're really giving me a headache with all this information.
It's just names. Hang on.
I don't recognize that number, but okay.
Hello. I'd like to just quick shout out to the MVP of the show. Hello, Mom.
We'll say who that is.
I just got a message. Might have been my Aunt Mary.
Oh,
or
never
something,
mind.
but-
She texted me herself. Your mom did.
Hello, Mom. These are my friends, and these are
Mama
my,
D is watching.
These are my enablers.
And you're your own enabler.
Anyhow, next question. Let's go. What do we got?
We don't have anything because
Oh,
I
Hard
lost
Habit to
internet
Break.
on my,
That's the song I'm thinking
Hard
of.
habits.
I
to break.
can't
Yeah,
do
we don't have internet. How are we broadcasting?
different internet.
Okay, I did it again. I touched
Yeah,
it.
you
That,
keep-
that was
keep clicking.
definitely
You gotta
me.
stop moving your feet, dude.
I got socks on. It's
Oh, did you break
odd.
the internet?
I broke everything.
She broke the internet.
I'm gonna have to.
2019, October 1st. What's
The new
today?
Kim K.
October 23rd. Kadie Lynn breaks the internet. Silence over there. Be quiet. Go outside.
I told her to be quiet.
It's like 9:30.
No
it's
laughing.
8:45.
She's following all the rules.
No laughing. No breathing.
The
You're breathing
Everly
too
Brothers.
loud. I do love the Everly Brothers.
Okay, it says, does anyone remember the Everly Brothers?
Does anyone remember
I
the
really
Everly
remember
Brothers?
them.
Yeah, I
Like,
remember.
I wasn't
I
there
I was,
when
yeah,
they-
I remember them when I was in college in 1963. Yeah, I remember that. You know. But I do. I know. I mean, all these are influences, man. I mean, ask me that question. Who are your influences? All these people that are being listed. You know, these are all of our influences.
Do
Why
you
are
know
laughing at
that the Everly Brothers originally did that? I've been cheated,
Love you.
been mistreated. I feel like it was made more famous by Linda
Sing your
Ronstadt.
sing
Yeah.
key.
Hers is When Will I
Hers is an E.
Be
I think it's E flat.
loved? You want to know who else was on that song when Linda Ronstadt did it?
Yes, no, don't tell me. Glenn Fry.
And the drummer was
Eagles. Don Henley.
yeah. She was gonna answer.
What was it? What was that other song that
But
Linda
she's
Ronstadt
9.
had that
Blue
was a crossover
Bayou.
hit? Yeah, but no, my sister, I got a sister that's 10 years older than me. She used to sing it wrong.
Feeling
No, love is your nose and you better not pick it.
Oh,
What?
Those are alternate lyrics.
that's funny. Or a wookin' banana.
Okay, look, I love y'all and everything, but I really gotta pee.
Oh, okay then. I guess that's the wrap up of the show.
Are we done? Are we done? Is that
Well,
what you're saying?
I guess we went 47 minutes. This is the longest show yet.
It is. So I think y'all will be all right.
We could talk all night long. We have a lot to say.
So we first.
A lot of
So,
useless information.
so before we end, we would like to say you're welcome for having us on the show.
Yeah. No, thank you for inviting us out.
You're welcome.
We got to tell everybody where to go. For next week, will it be on Facebook Live next week, or will you still be on YouTube?
It'll
you're
still be on YouTube.
okay. So 2 weeks from now, you'll be Facebook Live
Yep.
with your next guest.
Everybody go check out Backhand Sally on all your
Every-
social media platforms and
Yeah, just
music
type that
platforms.
in, and it comes up. Download the new album.
That's what I was saying. I said music.
We need
platforms.
money.
PayPal Backhand Sally Music at gmail.com.
You can literally go to our
He's already got it
website.
memorized.
You can go to our website,
You better be
Backhand
careful.
Sally
Everybody be
Music.
asking you for money.
Well, they ain't gonna get very far with that. BackhandSallyMusic.com. Go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to wherever you
Our
get your music.
website.
Search for Backhand Sally
Facebook even. You can buy it straight from Facebook.
from Facebook. And then we would like to congratulate you guys on having us out here tonight. So that was a good move for y'all.
All right. Maybe stay tuned. Maybe we'll do some fun stuff next week. Who knows?
Oh,
You
yeah.
never know.
It's
You'll
gonna
probably
be,
see more of
It's
Backhand
going to be
Sally.
Yeah. It's going to be a good week.
it's going to be a barrel like a barrel of monkeys or a barrel of laughs in
yeah, it'll be
Nashville. I
bad.
can only imagine.
No, but yeah, and
Barrel
and-
of something, Deborah.
and from the bottom of her heart, we would like to thank y'all, the watchers, for enjoying our show
Absolutely.
tonight.
And
So-
Aubrey says hi, Nana. She's here. You just can't see her.
Well, why don't you play us an outro?
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Pull up the lyrics. Watch this. I'll show you the song.
Watch this.
What song are you doing?
It's a song off our album. It's called One Pack of Cigarettes, and this is how we're gonna end the show. Have you seen the lonesome man as he winded down the road? He's got boots up to his knees, and his back is slightly bowed. 'Cause there's a pack of cigarettes where his heart's supposed to go. The same pack for 20 years, a memory of Mexico. Now for a small price to pay, he can tell you where to go. If you're needing some direction, It will only cost your soul. You too, Katie, clap. 'Cause one pack of cigarettes,
There you go.
a true love he won't forget, a broken heart with one regret, no love and no soul. You see, the man made a deal for the life of his love. Come on, Daryl, you can do it. The devil spared her on that day, but she was quickly called above. 'Cause death can't be reasoned with, an empty pack of cigarettes, a bad deal he'd soon regret, no love and no soul. Now the story we have told is a cautionary tale. Let life run its course, or you'll be living in hell. I don't see them hands moving, Katie. 'Cause one pack of cigarettes